Everybody, you thought it was over. You thought Pat McAfeebas was done for. But the world needed a hero, so here we are. How's it going, David?
Oh, it's going great. Feels great to be back here in the studio recording another episode of the Pat McAfeebas show. I'm so lucky to be joined by my amazing co-host. Um, how are you feeling, Skylar?
I'm doing great. Things are good in Skylar World, let me tell you.
All right. Well, without further ado, let's give the people what they're waiting for and get into this show. All right, so we're going
Heck
to
yeah.
start off, and you're going to give us a recap of last season.
We're gonna make it quick. We're hitting only the big points. So the league ended. We did not report on it because we're professionals. And David, congratulations on a big win in the finals.
Thank
How do
you.
you remember? How'd you feel about that?
Um, all I remember was we're sitting there, we're at your house, we're hanging out with your parents,
Mm-hmm.
and Nico goes, for every Pokemon that you let die, Tice is gonna have to drink. And I was like, well, I really like Tice, and I know he probably doesn't want to right now, so I just couldn't let any of my Pokemon die. And that was really what was going through my mind when I 6-0'd our Fearless Commissioner.
Playing for something bigger than yourself. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Nico and Gavin did pretty well too, except Nico, because
Yeah,
that was pathetic.
for
But
sure.
Gavin, congrats on that third place.
Absolutely.
Moving
Couldn't be
on, moving
couldn't be
on
proud.
into the other big plot line from last season is that James got humbled. Mr. Jalick got rolled, as what they said on the street, by an Articuno who was talking crap all year, and Articuno got his revenge on Mr. Jalick.
Absolutely. It was amazing to see. Um, I'm sure we will cover more about this Articuno beef that we anticipate to be moving on into this season. Um, all right, and with that, we're going to get on to a draft breakdown of this year's team. So first, we're going to go through the teams. We're going to just give quick thoughts about them, and then we made a tier list. We're going to rank them, how we see these teams going into the season. So let's get started. So first team we see here, Toronto Toxtricities, looking like a little sand team. Got an Excadrill with Tyranitar, and then with another possible using Sneasler with a Misty Seed from Weezing could be used. And then you got some Sticky Web support from Masquerain, along with Golden Go to block hazard removal.
Yeah, and then looking at Kevin's team here too, the Dayton Dragonites. We got that big, powerful Mega Alakazam with Psychic Terrain, and I don't know if you noticed, but he's got a lot of birds on this team. I see Corviknight, I see Hawlucha, Cyclizar's a dinosaur, so that's a bird. Pheasantipity, a lot of birds. So I expect this team to fly high this season.
Absolutely. All right, and next up we got Fraud Watch. Big team of a lot of 20 pointers, went really top heavy on this one with, I think, an auto draft strategy. So we'll have to see how that one pays off. But, overall, a lot of top end Pokemon here, a lot of good megas. Yeah,
Yeah, looking at the banded Dracovish too on the other side of things, we got a Gouging Fire, an Enamorus, a Scizor, a Mega Venusaur. Some pretty big old players. Not a whole lot of new Pokemon, but that's not necessarily a bad thing.
absolutely, absolutely. Next up, we got the Ohio State Cheap Cheeps, and they've got a more rain team looking thing going on here with Archalona, which obviously gets Electro Shot in the rain, Tornadus, who can hit its Hurricanes, and Mega Swampert who gets that doubled speed. I think it's a pretty good looking team, especially with those low tiers that have Swift Swim.
And speaking of teams that aren't new, Kyle and the Miami Durant drafted the exact same team that he's used for a little while now. In fact, the last time I fought this team, actually the last two times, I whooped it. So let's see how he performs this season.
Absolutely. And next up, we've got our three-time defending singles champion, myself, with Mega Absol, Z, and Baxcalibur, plus a little Aurora Veil. And then in case any of them die, I can just bring them back with Palmot. So it's looking like a pretty strong team, I would say.
I'd have to agree with you there. I think Nick, being the bird keeper on the other side of things here, actually doesn't have as many birds as Kevin does. So I'm interested to see how Nick is gonna perform when he really is like, yeah, he's a like bird keeper. I see what, three?
Yeah, I mean, I guess do you
Yeah,
count Latias as a bird?
yeah, I call Latias a bird.
Is Mega Raichu a bird? Because I'm just seeing Pelipper
Yeah,
fly.
I mean,
Kind of
I don't
bird-like.
know. Those ears are
Yeah,
those
yeah,
ears
I'll give you
can
that.
Raichu fly?
I, the other one
Maybe it
can.
can fall with style, right? Either way, Nick,
For
not a
sure.
lot of birds here. I'll be interested to see how you do.
For sure. Okay, next up we've got the Taiwan Terrors. Big Iron Valiant, previous member of my team. Really good Pokemon, along with Iron Hands. So if you do set up with the electric terrain, you're gonna have two Quark Drive Pokemon. Mega Galizapod too, an interesting choice because in this format it does have emergency exit, so we'll have to see how that plays out. But overall, a pretty strong looking team.
Yeah, and looking at Luke's team here, the Cincinnati Cinderaces, I see a lot of strong Pokemon on here, a lot of strong Dragon types, and a strange amount of purple Pokemon too. So I think this team will make a deep run. I think it looks very strong.
Absolutely. Next up, we've got our fearless commissioner and potential league rigger. With his Mega Greninja and then the Sneasel Rillaboom core, one of the most devastating cores in Draft League, along with his signature Latias. I think this could prove to be an extremely powerful team, but it does have a Luxray on it.
So you never know.
Yeah,
Looking at the Tri-State Tri-Attack, I think this team looks really strong. I see a lot of speed on here, and I see a really good defensive backbone. So I think this team's gonna be formidable.
absolutely. Okay, and next up we got the Bozo Don Dozo. I like the name. Iron Valley and Urshifu, definitely a strong core of fighting types up there, and then Chi Yu in case you weren't getting enough special attack power, and Mega Alakazam. I think this team is going to also use that psychic terrain from Indeedee very effectively with Hatterene and Mega Alakazam to also take advantage of it.
Looking at Scarlet and Green's team here too, I see a lot of rocks, and I think
Yeah,
that's gonna be this will be a fun team to watch. I see both Diancies on this team. There's a Klefki who kind of could be a rock, right?
yeah,
And Zoroark really is our only outlier here, but he can look like a rock too. So I think this team is gonna certainly dazzle the crowd with their uniforms.
I couldn't agree more. Next up, we got the Delphus Delmise, with their amazing logo up there, being led by Mega Heatran. And Orthworm, we might try to see some skill swap things from Mega Heatran to Orthworm, so Mega Heatran doesn't have that ground weakness. I don't know how they would pull that off, but could be. And then the double Mega strategy here with Mega Clefable as well. I think this could be a very interesting team with all the Regenerator pivots too of Slowking and Hydrapple.
And looking at Garrett's biggest rival here, Gavin, I think it's interesting to see how they drafted against each other. Garrett picks a Mega Heatran, Gavin takes a Water type. Gavin takes a Ground type. Garrett
Mhm.
takes an Earthworm. So I think this will be a very fun matchup to see who comes out on top. And usually, in my experience, it's Gavin. So we'll see how it goes.
We will have to see. Next up, we got the Washington Genesects, one of our most popular franchises to discuss. Running it off with a Mega Delphox and Roaring Moon, and an Iron Crown, three really big setup threats, along with Quaquaval, which can also set up. Then you got Gliscor as a backbone. And he really likes his sticky webs. I don't know if you need him when Mega Delphox has 134 speed, but I think this will be an interesting team this year.
And looking at the Columbus local farmers, I think this team has a lot of ghost types. But I think the big standout guy here is that Articuno Galar. Look out, James. He's
Oh,
coming for you.
a very worrying thing to see if you're a Genesect fan. Next up, we got the Pick Away, Pick a Pack. Leading it off with a Great Tusk and Mega Kangaskhan. You just got to watch out for those rocky helmets. And then Greninja, really good late game cleaner, of course. And Volcarona got some really good setup here on the special attacking side, especially with Thundurus too. So I think this could be a very interesting team with Great Tusk there holding it down on the physical side as well.
And then looking at the windbreak wall reigns here, we're closing it out with another sand team. I think this team looks really strong. You got Hydrapple, Primarina. You got two big threats right there. Vikavolt 2 hits hard. I think this is going to be a good team to close us out here.
Couldn't agree more. All right, and now we've got some analysis. Now, these are my tiers. And these tiers, I can't lie, were based 0% on the teams drafted, just on what I think of the players. All right.
that's why we do some real analysis here
That,
with some big air
that's
quotes.
that's the real analysis that you watch this show for. All right. So we got this tier is full of all the teams that are new to singles draft this BPDL. So these are teams that might have played in the doubles draft but haven't played in singles, and we're excited to see things from them. The Tri-State Tri-Attack, the Taiwan Terrors, Delphus Delmise, Windbreak Walreins, the Ohio State Cheap Cheeps, the Bozo Dondozos, Fraud Watch, and the Pickaway Pickapex. Um, they're not really tiered with the other people because I just don't know their coaches well enough to, or their coaches' abilities well enough to put them in the tiers. So next up, we've got need to see playoff success. Now here we got 5 teams that we did not see playoff wins from last season. Um, Obviously, the Columbus Local Farmers has been rebranded from Cinder's Ace last season. But the Cinders, Ace, Scarlet, and Green, the Toronto Toxtricities, who rebranded from the Toledo Toxtricities, and the Miami Durant, all 4 of these teams failed to miss the playoffs despite being close, close to being in there last season. So I'm excited to see if they're able to get into the playoffs and have some success this season. Cincinnati Cinder Aces, they did make the playoffs last season, but lost in a hard-fought game against the Dayton Dragonites. Um, so we'd like to see this season if they can move forward a little bit, maybe win a playoff game this time, maybe 2, maybe even make it to the finals. I wouldn't be surprised with the team that they've drafted. Next up, we've got expanding on great seasons. 2 teams here: the Ohio Bandit Dracovish, who rebranded from the Pyro Challengers Bengaluru, and the Beaver Creek Braviaries. Both these teams won playoff games last season, so both had great seasons last single season, and I'm excited to see if they're able to maybe double the playoff win total, maybe triple it, maybe even quadruple it and win the whole thing. Next up, we've got a very interesting tier here. I wasn't sure if it should go at the bottom, at the top. It ended up going about in the middle, the ref dependent tier. So, as you may remember, the Las Vegas Latias made it to the finals last season off of a lot of questionable calls, a lot of thrown games, a lot of suspicious freezes, and but all in all, they seem to just magically pull out a lot of wins. But in the finals, on a neutral site, on a place where they actually couldn't rig the game because it was not played at their house, um, they lost 6-0. I mean, they just got destroyed. So it seems like maybe there was some rigging going on before that, and when they weren't able to have that on their side, they lost. But we don't know. They might be able to rig the whole league, even the finals this time. And in that case, they should be at the top of the tier list. But if they're not rigging the league, they should probably be at the bottom. And since we don't know how each week is going to go, they're right in the middle because they could be.
It does feel it does feel very reminiscent of the 2024 Chiefs. So I think that's a
Absolutely.
great comparison of a team that we all knew was a fraud, but it's hard to root against the rule book.
Yeah. That's a really good point. And next up, we got title run potential. As you guys saw, Columbus Clodsires finished 3rd last season. It's only 2 spots up to win the whole thing this year, and I could see them doing it. Next to them, we have the Dayton Dragonites, who, while they only won 1 playoff game last year, they lost to the eventual champion Cleveland Zygardians, and they almost won. They were the closest team to beating him in the playoffs. I think that had they not matched up with him in their second playoff game, they would have won a lot more, and they even could have been in the finals had they been in the other conference. Um, so I think that the Dayton Dragonites have a really good shot at winning the whole thing this season. And you might have noticed one team that is shockingly missing from these bottom tiers, but
I did notice one team that wasn't there actually.
yeah, The Washington Genesects are up next to the Cleveland Guardians on this tier I've called the favorite and the heavy underdog. Now, obviously, the Genesects are the heavy underdog. The Genesects have been a poverty franchise for their entire existence. I mean, they've never won anything at all in their time in BPDL. They lost to Articuno. They lost a playoff game to the Cleveland Guardians. It's been a really tough road for them. But I've seen signs. It seems optimistic things are coming from their front office, and they feel good about the team they've got assembled for this season. And so I'm gonna make a bold prediction, and I'm gonna say I think they're gonna be here in the finals at the end of the year against the Cleveland Guardians, who are, of course, the incumbent champion and incumbent favorite to win this league. Now, Skylar, after hearing all that, what are your thoughts on the tier list?
I mean, I think it's pretty. I think the only, uh, I think the Washington Genesect in the top tier is always going to be something that's going to raise an eyebrow for me. But I think the Zygardians getting the four-peat. That's not even a good word for that. But I could see that happening for sure because that's kind of how this thing goes. I think that I totally agree with the upper tiers. I think that everything in here is pretty spot on. I think you did a great job with this tier list.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and we will have to see how the rule book falls for our good friend the commissioner. All right, and next up, we have some bonus content about
What
your
up?
favorite coach of the Washington Genesects, Jalek. Now, your eyes do not deceive you. This is not a photoshopped image here on the left of your screen. That is PokeMMD crushing Jalek in a battle. I mean, just destroying him. He even had to sack three of his Pokemon to make Jalek feel a little better. And if you look at the title down there, this Glaceon makes my opponent so mad. We know Jalek struggles with ice types, especially given the whole Articuno debacle from last season. And what makes it even worse for him is that the Columbus local farmers in his own division, you're not going to guess who's on their roster. It's Articuno. Skylar, what do you think about all this?
Yeah, I mean, when it says James was so mad, let me tell you, that wasn't clickbait. We found a real life picture of James before and after this match, and I that looks like so mad to me. What do you think, David?
Yeah, I mean, I think so mad might even be an understatement for how upset it would seem that Jalek. I mean, the entire video was titled after him, after how badly he was defeated by a Glaceon. Um,
Right? Like that's on one of the biggest possible Pokemon stages too. That's a tough look.
For sure. I mean, there is pretty much no bigger competitive Pokemon stage than being on Pokegame MD, getting a live battle. I mean, I don't know how he got the privilege of doing that, but he is probably not going to get another one after that demolition job that Glaceon did on him. Do you have any thoughts on his potential rematch? Well, it's almost certain because they're in the same division. His rematch against Articuno this season?
Yeah, I mean, I've been close to Articuno ever since last season when I took Articuno all the way, and I think that Articuno is rare and ready to go, and so I'm not expecting him to come up flat. That's for sure.
Couldn't agree more. I think James could be after all this information has dropped. I think potentially my tiering of him was a little high. Maybe my enthusiasm for the Washington Genesects should have taken into account the fact he is in a division with Articuno, and also that he was demolished by a Glaceon. But
There is maybe a chance though. We'll see how he can funnel this anger because it's very, very pure, raw anger. And so if he can channel that productively, I think he could be dangerous.
I honestly, I think you're very right about that. I think that Glaceon made him so mad, and if he does is able to bring that into this season and maybe even take it out on Articuno rather than being overwhelmed by the heat of the moment like he was last season, then I think he could maybe get over the hump.
I totally agree.
All right, and with that, we'll move on to. So, guys, I've noticed that some of you guys, your subscribe button is still red and not gray like it should be. So we're gonna have to get those numbers up.
Yeah, even just a little bit. If we could get up to that 67% subscribed, like that'd be pretty cool.
It really would. It really would. We'd like to see a little more engagement too in the comments. Definitely let us know who you think's gonna win the championship this year. If you think that Jalek can overcome his crushing defeat at the hands of PokeMMD, and let us know if Articuno is gonna get the last laugh.
Yeah, I'd love to see the discussion.
All right. Well, you got anything else, Skylar?
I don't think so, James. I hope you don't stay so mad and things get going a little better for you. But everyone, thank you for sticking around this long.
All right, and we will see you guys potentially next week, potentially the week after, but at some time.